everybody, and welcome to SFF180. It is Monday, December the 19th, the final Monday before Christmas Day itself. Your host here, Thomas, as always. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys have had a reasonably good week. It's been pretty good for me. I ended up going back to Austin for a few days to take care of a few more things, and took a little time out to do some fun stuff too. Saw Rogue One. And other than that, I don't really have much in the way of news except to say that it is going to be a surprisingly big mailbag today. So we're going to get right into it. Usually around the end of the year, you know, everybody is shutting down for the holidays and getting ready to go home for a few weeks, and so it tends to slow down, but not this week. Got plenty of good new stuff to show you guys, and so I would just like to get right into it, okay? So, let's see. Okay, and this first one here comes from Simon & Schuster, so I guess it's going to be a bunch of Saga Press titles. And it's 3 books from Saga. These are mostly arcs, it looks like, but this one, we're starting off with one that looks pretty cool. It's another John Joseph Adams anthology, and this is called Cosmic Powers. Comes out in April, and it says it is the Saga anthology of faraway galaxies. Ooh-ah. Let's see what's in here. Amazing, all-original stories of epic science fiction adventure by some of today's best writers. And it includes, oh, here's the list right here. Charlie Jane Anders, Tobias Buckle, Becky Chambers, Adam Troy Castro, let's see, Alan Dean Foster, Carl Schroeder, Shauna McGuire, Alietta Bedard, Linda Nagata, Yoon Ha Lee, Kat Howard, Jack Campbell, Cameron Hurley, Dan Abnett, among others. This is really cool. Let's just see if there's any more. Okay, April 18th is the day on this. So, yeah, about time we had some more of this stuff. Good solid science fiction space opera adventure in a new anthology, Cosmic Powers, coming out from Saga in April. And also, this looks pretty sweet. This is by Michelle Baker. It comes out in March, and it's Phantom Pains, and it looks to be the sequel to her book Borderline, which I have in my queue, and so I guess I'm going to get to it fairly soon so that I can get to this one now. It's part of her series called the Arcadia Project, and I don't want to give away too many spoilers in the synopsis, but let's just, what can I say about this? Probably not a whole heck of a lot. But March 21st. Is the date for this. So if you read Borderline and liked Borderline, and everyone who has read Borderline so far seems to have really liked it, then Phantom Pains comes out in March. And then finally we have Boss Fight. This is not an arc, this is a finished copy. This is by Annie Bellett, and it is the second bind-up edition of her 20-sided Sorceress series of urban fantasies, which she originally self-published. They're like novellas, short novels. You know, on Amazon, you could get them just as Kindle editions. And now Saga has put a bunch of them together in these 2 paperbacks. First one was Level Grind, and now this one is Boss Fight. And so I'm guessing it's out nowish because this is the finished copy. So it's either going to be a December or a January title. But Jade Crow and her friends face their worst enemy and now lie wounded, defeated, and flung across the wilderness. So I believe the main character actually works, is either, you know, a gamer or works at a game store, but let's see, this includes the next 3, Heartache, Thicker Than Blood, and Magic to the Bone. Again, these were all originally self-published by Annie Bellett, and now they are available in a really sleek trade paperback from Saga Press. Okay, and what do we got here? Moving on, it just says, from MacMillan. Oh, this is, well, how about that? I've already gotten the book, but this is the audiobook edition, for you audiobook mavens, of the new David Weber Safe Home novel. And this is, I think, like volume 9 or 10 in this massive, ongoing, chunky space opera series. It combines elements of both epic fantasy and space opera together in a big thing. And like I said, there are 9 of them, and each one is approximately 33 billion and 9 pages long. So, you know, it's those kinds of books if you like those sorts of tomes. But yes, this is a 34.5-hour unabridged read of At the Sign of Triumph, the new David Weber Safe Home novel, on 27 CDs, and it came out on November the 22nd. So if you're a fan and you like the audiobook versions of things, and you're still into physical media for your audio pleasure, although I suspect the audible version will be just as long, but At the Sign of Triumph is now available from MacMillan Audio. Okay, in a white envelope denotes another Tor title. Okay, well, I'm very pleased to see this. This is The Nature of a Pirate. This is the third book in the Hidden Sea Tales series by A.M. Delamonica. And it's following Child of a Hidden Sea and then A Daughter of No Nation, so this is book 3. And it's in Child of a Hidden Sea, all Sophie Hansa wanted to do was meet her birth parents. Instead, she and her stepbrother found themselves transported into another world. Or not transported into another world, just to another world. There we go. Made up of giant archipelagos and people who can magically alter themselves. A world called Stormrack. So here we go then, book 3, The Nature of a Pirate. And this came out from Tor in hardcover on December the 6th. Alrighty then, and here we have a tiny little thin package from Random Penguin. Let's see what we have. Well, alright then, China Mieville fans, you'll be happy to know that his short novel, This Census Taker, which I have reviewed here on the channel, so maybe I'll link that for you. This will be out in paperback from Del Rey Books on January the 3rd. It's a very strange little tale. In a remote house on a hilltop, a lonely boy witnesses a profoundly traumatic event. He tries and fails to flee, left alone with his increasingly deranged parent. He dreams of safety, of joining the other children in the town below, of escape. When at last a stranger knocks at his door, the boy senses that his days of isolation might be over, but by what authority does this man keep the meticulous records he carries? What is the purpose behind his questions? Is he friend, enemy, or something else altogether? Well, it is all very intriguing, and this is, yeah, like I said, it's from Del Rey Books, and it is in paperback on January the 3rd. Okay, I'm making some pretty good headway here. Moving on, we have a little package from Random Penguin, and ooh, I do believe I feel 2 books inside this one, so what can they be? Okay, first one, and I'm very pleased to get this because this guy's top of my Get Caught Up With list. But this is the 3rd Bone Street Rumba novel from Daniel Jose Older. It's called Battle Hill Bolero. And trouble is brewing between the Council of the Dead and the ghostly half-dead spiritual and supernatural community they claim to represent. One too many shady deals have gone down in New York City's streets, and those caught in the crossfire have had enough. It's time for the Council to be brought down. This time for good. So these are some, you know, well above the norm. Tough and gritty urban fantasies from Daniel Jose Older. Daniel Jose Older. That's one of those names where you say it really quickly. I can get tongue-tied. But this is a January title from Rock in mass market paperback. So very excited to see this one. And then here is a hardcover. The Dead Seekers. Now I've already gotten this as an ARC, and you have probably seen it here on the mailbag. But this is a new novel by Barb and J.C. Hendy. And this, I believe, is a spin-off of their Noble Dead series. Which has now run for several books, and I do believe it is set in a distant future having something to do with vampires or vampirish kinds of creatures, or maybe not, but let's have a look. It says, in the dark reaches of the eastern continent, Tris Vishal travels from village to village, using his power to put unsettled spirits to rest. He works alone, having learned that letting people close only leads to more death. Well, whose fault is that? Okay, still he finds himself accepting the help of the Mandalika woman who saves his life, a woman whose gifts are as much a burden as his own. Mary Kaleha? I'll go with Kaleha. Has thirsted for vengeance since the night her family was taken from her. She has searched far and wide for the one she thinks responsible, known only as the Dead's Man. But before she can kill him, she has to be sure. Mary hopes to confront her suspicions by traveling with Tris, but as they embark on a hunt where the living are just as dangerous as the dead, she learns the risks of keeping your enemy close, because it's no longer clear who is predator and who is prey. Okay then, well, the Dead Sea, maybe this is not a spin-off of the Noble Dead series, which has been described here as a cross between Lord of the Rings and Buffy. So take that as you will. But it comes out all the same in January from Ace Books in hardcover. So let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, everybody, well, let's move on then. We're going to go with this one. It's from Prometheus Books. Okay, well I am pleased to see this because I have just moved a Volume 1 closer to the top of my review queue. So this is Black City Demon. It is the sequel to Black City Saint by Richard K. Knack. These are fantasies set during the Prohibition era in Chicago. And they combine, it says, action, mystery, and romance against a backdrop of gangland wars beset by a threat of supernatural horror. So it sounds like it's really just kind of right up my street. This sequel, Black City Demon, comes out March the 14th. And again, I don't really want to give away too much in the way of spoilers. But it says it's, let's see, book list says there are some comparisons to Dresden Files, it says, but hopefully just superficially. You know, the Chicago setting and what have you. But the Prohibition era angle of it makes it really, really interesting to me. So let me know in the comments about all of this. But Black City Demon, like I said, the sequel to Black City Saint, comes out from Prometheus on March the 14th. And also from Prometheus, this one is out on February 28th. This is the arc for World Shaker. And this is Book 3 and something called the Grudge Bearer Trilogy. I've gotten the first 2 of these. I've had a look at them. Look kind of interesting. J.F. Lewis is the author. But let's see. This has to do with, essentially, an ancient race in this secondary world has been awakened under circumstances that have made them rather cranky, and so apparently war results. And again, in this one it says it's full of action, adventure, and wit. World Shaker is a captivating story of journey and sacrifice. And like I said, the first 2 volumes in this were, I believe, Grudge Bearer followed by Oathkeeper, and now they're shaking the world in Book 3. So this is available from Prometheus Books on February 28th. And getting close to the end of the stack, we have another thin little random penguin package. Okay, this is a book from Neville House Publishing, and this is one that I have gotten in hardcover. And I've been eyeing it, it's very tantalizing looking. And now it's in paperback, so I think I really, really would like to read it. You guys are going to have to let me know in the comments. But the author is Serge Brousselot. It's called The Deep Sea Divers Syndrome. This is apparently a very popular French author of SFF, and I believe this is the first English translation of any of his works. It's described as a hypnotic neo-noir thriller. There it is, beautifully rendered in Edward Govin's translation. The story opens with a so-called medium, a professional dreamer, who dives into the dream world to retrieve items that convert into valuable artworks in the waking world. The more dangerous the dream, the more valuable the artwork. In David Sorella's dream, he is a professional thief who, with the help of his accomplice Nadia — you always want an accomplice with a name like Nadia. Why wouldn't you? He breaks into jewelry stores and museums, apparently, and he lifts diamond necklaces and priceless art and escapes into the night, often just ahead of bursts of police gunfire. You know, they should tell the cops, don't shoot at the guy carrying the valuable works of art. Anyway, the dives are taking their toll, both physically and mentally. David is beyond the point at which his syndrome forces most mediums to retire or face insanity or even death, and yet he can't imagine a full-time life in the waking world, a world with no Nadia. So he decides to go down one more time on the deepest dream dive he's ever attempted to settle his doubts and pull off one last spectacular job. See, it just sounds like really like a lot of fun. So let me know about this one, because I'm fascinated by it. The Deep Sea Diver Syndrome is now available in paperback from Melville House. And next to last one, I have something here from Gray Rabbit Publications, Fantastic Books. Okay. Don't know anything about this, really. Let's have a look. Okay, let's see. Well, this is the art for something called Time on My Hands. It is, the author is Daniel M. Kimmel. And apparently, I don't know, is this... Alright, this looks to be fiction, even though he is described as a film critic and professor, and some of his earlier books were collections of essays and things. Oh, well, one was a novel. But anyway, it says it's a quirky take on time travel, lost love, divided loyalties, and the eternal search for a really good scotch. Time on My Hands investigates the myriad time travel troubles. Now, okay, talk about tongue twisters. Over which most science fiction readers have pondered, but it presents a fresh take on the time travel novel by adhering to the Aristotelian unity of time. That is, all the action takes place within one day. In the book, Professor Price tells the story of how he came to be in possession of a time travel device, which he may or may not have invented, and how he found his future hiding in his past. But the discovery of time travel will necessitate far more than just building a really cool machine. It'll take the efforts of many people to figure out how to talk about time travel, the requirements necessary to be an ethical time traveler, and just whose office it is when my yesterday becomes your tomorrow without the courtesy of a knock on the door. Okay, well, sounds kind of interesting. Time on my hands, and this is available February 21st. From Gray Rabbit Publications, a small press. Doesn't seem like a very demanding little story, kind of short, to the point, but could be fun. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, guys, last package. This is it, and this looks to be... Oh, another one from Simon & Schuster. Oh, maybe this is some of the Saga stuff that got caught in mail forwarding coming to the new address. Anyway, well, we'll see, won't we? Indeed, that is what it is, and first off, I am extremely excited about this one, as are a great many people. This is the arc for Kameron Hurley's The Stars Are Legion. This is her space opera, I believe a standalone space opera, epic, with an all-female cast. And this comes out in what's the exact date? February 7th, it says. Now, I have already read this because, as you might remember, well, maybe not, because I didn't, but if you follow me on Twitter, back at the Nebula conference in May, I believe it was, Cameron had like a very small collection of bound galleys, like 10 of them had been made, like at FedEx Kinko's, by her publisher, because they were giving them out to authors at the Nebula conference, to get those early blurbs in. And at the end of the conference, Cameron had one left. And I got it, and it's awesome, and she signed it and everything. So now I've read that. I'm going to go ahead and skim over this because I'm sure some edits have been made. But now that this is out, this pretty much technically means I can go ahead and get my review ready. So I would say expect the review of this book certainly before the end of this month. I'm going to say maybe right after Christmas, so next week at least. But yeah, as worlds continue to die, it says, a desperate plan is put into motion. Somewhere on the outer rim of the universe, a mass of decaying world ships known as the Legion is traveling in the seams between the stars. Here in the darkness, a war for control of the Legion has been waged for generations with no clear resolution. Zan wakes with no memory, prisoner of a people who say they are her family. She is told she is their salvation, the only person capable of boarding the Mokshi, a world ship with the power to leave the Legion. But Zan's new family is not the only one desperate to gain control of the prized ship. Zen finds that she must choose sides in a genocidal campaign that will take her from the edge of the Legion's gravity well to the very belly of the world. In the tradition of Ian M. Banks' culture novels and Roger Zelazny's Chronicles of Amber, Kameron Hurley has created an epic and thrilling tale about tragic love, revenge, and wars, imagined by one of our most celebrated new writers. So yeah, like I said, look for the review of this, but this book comes out from Saga on February the 7th. And next up we have another arc. This is a new book by Cassandra Rose Clark, who was at Armadillicon last August, and I failed to take the opportunity to say hi to her and introduce myself, which I wish I'd done. But this is her new novel called Star's End, and this comes out from Saga. Let's have a look at dates really quickly. March 21st, it says. It says, Esme Coromina has always known that one day she would run the Four Sisters, the small planet system that her father grew into a corporate empire. Raised as the pampered heir to the company, Esme lived the best years of her life at Star's End, the estate her father built on the terraformed moon, where he began his empire. In the tropical sunlight and lush gardens, Esme helped raise her 3 motherless half-sisters. But as Esme is groomed to take over the family business of manufacturing weapons for the mercenary groups spread across the galaxy, she slowly uncovers the sinister truth at the heart of her father's company. And when those secrets are finally revealed, Esme is sure that she has lost her sisters and part of her soul for good. So here we have Star's End coming out from Saga in March. And then last, but by absolutely no means least, this is not an arc, this is in hardcover, out, available now from Saga Press. This is a brand new edition of an old Michael Moorcock fantasy novel. This came out years and years ago. I think I remember this came out when I was a kid. And it's been sort of like a hidden, kind of underappreciated cult classic gem in all these years. But it's called Gloriana, the Unfulfilled Queen. Basically, it's a classic novel of the reign of an alternate Queen Elizabeth I. So that kind of sums it up. But Gloriana, available now. New edition, reviving an old cult item. And that is it for this week's mailbag, the final mailbag before Christmas. I hope all of you have a very Merry Christmas, or Hanukkah season, or Kwanzaa, or Festivus, or whatever it is you celebrate this time of year, or even if you celebrate nothing at all. I just hope you have a really happy end of the year, because we need some happiness. Just even this much for 2016. Come on, 2016, can we just have this much? But otherwise, you know the drill. Light up the comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize in the review queue. Also, this week I am going to be back with some more content, especially Wednesday. Tune into the channel Wednesday, because that is when I will be unleashing my most anticipated 2017 SFF releases video. Do this at the end of every year, and this time it's time for 17 and 17. I'm sure you're all going to want to see that. I'm looking forward to it, so check that out. And I'm probably going to get one more book review up this week as well, too, before Christmas weekend. So, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like, share, please sub if you have not done so. That is what helps SFF180 to grow. And remember, you can also support the channel at my TeePublic store. Treat yourself to some Wink Couture for the holiday. Little holiday present for yourself. Alrighty, and until I see all you awesome folks next time, happy reading.